Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, so next question is I don't know why I keep scrolling up. God damn it. All right. Hey Megan, what books inspired you the most and you recommend everyone else to read? It would be nice if you made a video about that. I'm pretty sure I did, but um that's a tough question to answer because I read a lot of fucking books. But I would say the books that inspired me the most are the books that were more centered on history, right? The books that helped me understand the world we live in, right? And I always stress the importance of history. If you watch the interview with Alex again, there's a whole segment where we just talk about history. I used to hate history in high school. I'm pretty sure everybody that was in high school hated it. But as I got older, I went back and I realized the importance of history. I understood that it is by far the most important subject in school, and it's not taught enough, right? History is everything. There's not a single science, a single thing today that's not that can exist without history, right? It's the foundation for everything. Without history, we'll just keep trying to reinvent the wheel every single time. So it's when I started digging into historical books that I again, mind you, if you know me by now, you know that I hate reading. I absolutely hate reading. I know it sounds you're like, wait, that's weird. You read so many books though. It's because I didn't have a fucking choice, right? When you get to a point when you hit rock bottom in your life and you're like, you know what, I want to make I want to become a better person. I want to grow. I want to, just get off the floor and, I don't know, just head somewhere. You don't have a choice. You gotta do the things that you're not comfortable with. You gotta become comfortable being uncomfortable, like they say. So, and then again, I got ADD like a motherfucker. Where when I could spend 20 minutes on the same page. Obviously, I had to train myself to like, keep going forward. But before, it was so painful because I hated to read. I would be on the first paragraph for the longest because the moment I go to sentence two, sentence three, my brain is going back thinking about Call of Duty, fucking video games, Dragon Ball Z, whatever, and I will find myself at the bottom of the page just to realize that I wasn't really retaining anything. I was just going down. So, back to your question, history, I would say is all the books that had to do with history is where I got the most of my inspiration because again, history helps you. I keep saying the number one problem today with people is lack of identity. Men, simply men and women included, simply suffer from a lack of identity. So what do? They try to find identity in celebrities and just things that have nothing really to do with their with who they really are. They're just trying to latch on to something because when you don't have identity, you don't have a sense of vision. You don't have a sense of vision, and where the fuck are you going in life? So I believe everything boils down to identity, and history puts everything in perspective. History helps you see the big fucking picture, right? So you want recommendation on books? Again, everything. I mean, when I say history, I read almost everything you could think about when it comes to history. I'm still learning. I'm not gonna say I'm a master of history. Hell no, that's the goal. That's why I have a daily routine where I try to learn a new historical fact a day, new person a day, things like that. But you definitely want to focus on books that help you paint a better picture of the world. Once you have a better picture of the world, now you can start going into self development books and this this and da. Everything else comes after history. Learn your history first. Learn the history of the world. If you in America learn the history of America, But I will always tell people start from BC, start from like the oldest civilizations and move your way forward because it'll help you paint the bigger picture. I mean, I read everything. I read all 66 books of the Bible back to back to back to back. Not just for the sake of religion, because you guys know how I feel about religion, but because I wanted to understand the world we're in. I read the Quran. Why? Because I wanted to understand Islam and and the word the second biggest religion. I don't think I didn't read is the obscure religions and things like that. But pretty much you get the point I'm trying to make, right? Anything that has to do with history, trust me, it will change your fucking life. It will change your life. It will make you a cynic though. It'll make you a cynical son of a bitch. I'll tell you that. But you need to be cynical in the world that we live in. This is a dog eat dog world, and trust me, history will put some lens on you. You start to see things that you couldn't see before. You start to understand things that you didn't understand before. You're gonna have a lot of aha moments, like, oh, okay, I see the strings that are being pulled in society. I see why they're being pulled. I see how governments try to manipulate us and things like that. So again, hope that answered your question in terms of what books to get you started. To get you inspired. And when you're done with history, I would say now you could move on to biographies. That's the second, type of, category of books that really inspired me because once you understand history, you start to see the people who have paved the way for us to be here today. And then these people become your idols. They become your role models. You're like, wow, these people are, we where we are today because of, a handful of men. So then you start to look, study the biographies and you start to see, what they did to get where they are and, the things that they learned, how they learned it and things like that. So history, biography, then you can start moving on to everything else like self-development, growth and things like that. All right. So I hope that answers your question. As far as specific books, again, whatever religion you're in, you don't have to be religious. Like me, I'm not religious, but study religion. So read the Quran if you can. Read the Bible if you can. If not, read read stuff like you can even read stuff like Robert Greene's books because he's a very he mentions a lot of historical facts in his book. So read 48 Laws of Power. He talks a lot about history in that. Read Mastery. Read um, The Art of War. You gotta read The Art of War. God damn. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody read that by now. Read Machiavelli, The Prince. It's gonna help you understand politics a lot. Read man, it's a lot of books I can't even think of the top of my head. The History of Strategy, read that. That's very historical as well. Read things on like cavemen. Read King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. Read that. Very, very, very important book, especially if you're a guy. Read. I mean, I could make a whole separate video where I just go through all the books I read, but it's so many. But just stick to what I said earlier, right? Focus on history, then biography, and then we'll talk. All right. Chip through the alpha. I hope that helps.